Hi loves and welcome to my channel. I'm Waki and today I'm so excited to be sharing this beautiful tank top tutorial with you. As you can see, it's two-way. It can be worn both at the back and the front. It is so easy to make and it's something you can finish under 30 minutes. Please, if you find this video helpful, do not forget to like, subscribe and comment and turn on the post notification so that you'll be the first to know whenever I upload a new video. You do not require a lot for this tutorial. That's why I use this leftover pattern paper. The measurements required includes your bust, armhole and hip measurement. So I'm starting off by subtracting 5 inches from my full length measurements. I want my top 20 inches long, so I'm subtracting 5 inches and that will give me 15 inches, and I've gone ahead to join that point with a straight line. Once I'm done with that, I'm going ahead to mark a quarter of my hips measurement, which is 40 inches divided by 4. That gives me 10. I've marked it horizontally. When I'm done, I'm connecting it into a straight line like you've seen. I'm going to be cutting this piece out using my scissors and set the other one aside. Next up, I'm marking my armhole measurements, which is 8 inches. So remember, we subtracted 5 inches. Just going to be marking it on that 8 inches mark. But if you are starting from the top of the paper, it's going to be 3 inches. At this point, I've gone ahead to mark in my chest measurements. The chest measurements I'm using for this project is half of my normal chest measurements minus 2 inches. Half of my chest measurement is 7 minus 2 inches is 5. And on the armhole line, I've gone ahead to input a quarter of my bust measurement, which is 8.5 inches, and I've made it into a curve using my curved ruler. I'm marking at this point half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 3.5 inches, and I'm making that into a straight line as well. Trimmed my armhole curve at this point. I'm just drawing in a style at the front. You can make it a sweetheart neck or a circle neck like I've demonstrated. I'm cutting open from that nipple to nipple measurements so that I'll be able to add more width to my blouse, but I realized it's just too small. So I've marked 3 inches away from that line as well. I'm joining it and I'll be slashing it also, but do not cut the top part. I'm placing an extra paper underneath the pattern so that I'll be able to add the width to the blouse. The width of the paper you are adding is totally dependent on you. You can make it full or less. Now that I'm done with the addition of the width, I've gone ahead to make a curve at the lower part of my tank top. I'll go ahead and cut this out before proceeding to the next. I'll be using this pattern to cut out on my fabric, and I'm making use of this scrap material I used to make a dress when I was a beginner. I'll be making use of the front parts of the blouse. I'll go ahead and fold the fabric into two, place my pattern and make sure it aligns very well, and I'll be cutting at. If you notice, I'm not adding any seam allowance at the top part, but I'll be adding 1 inch at the side. For the other part of this blouse, I'll be making use of this Ankara fabric. You need less than half yard of fabric. I just had this big piece, that's why it's looking so big. So I'm aligning and making sure everything is very well before cutting out. But you notice this front was a sweetheart neckline, but I'll be using a straight neckline for the back. I'm going ahead to make the bias strips for my blouse at this point. If you notice, I'm folding on that diagonal line because it has a bit of stretch. And before cutting out my desired fabric, I'm going ahead to measure the neckline. The neckline for both the back and the front was about 24 inches, so I went ahead to cut about 26 inches just to have an excess. Then for the shoulder strap, remember I subtracted 5 inches, so I'm adding that 5 inches to the armhole measurement, and I'm going to be multiplying by 2 since it's 2 sides. So I had about 20 inches and I added 2 inches as seam allowance. The width of straps I used both for the armhole and the shoulder was 1 3/4 inches. You can use more or less depending on how well you can work with bias tips, but if you're a beginner, it's safe to use 2 inches and above. I'm done with the markings and I'm cutting out at this point. I'm making use of these straps and I will move over to my sewing machine to show you how to. For the front, fold the bias tape into 2 and place on the neckline as you can see, and start sewing using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to straighten out that sweetheart neckline so that you'll be able to sew through seamlessly. When you are done, trim off the sewing allowance, fold over and pin down as you can see before you sew down the edge. Be very careful when stitching down the edge at this point and make sure your seams are aligning properly. I've done same for the back and I'm just sewing 1/8 inches from the edge. This is what it looks like after sewing, and I'm going to be placing the front and the back right sides together, meaning I'll be sewing on the wrong side. I'm confirming my bust measurements at this point and I'm sewing following the seam allowance I left. After sewing, I'm going ahead to trim off the excess to about 1/2 inch so that it will be easy for me to fix my straps. You can weave or serge the edge at this point or use a French seam instead. To fix the shoulder straps, I've folded the fabric into 2 and I'm going to be measuring 5 inches on it. Flip over to the other side and repeat same. Now when you are done, pin it down at that point and note where the bias tape coincides with the side seam and make a notch. You'll be doing same on the other side, and where you have the 2 notches, just place them together on the right side and sew on the wrong side. This is what it should look like when you are done, and the next thing is to fold it over. As you can see, pin it down and continue that way till you are done, and make same for the other parts. All that is left at this point is sewing down the edge, and I used 1/8 seam allowance, and our tank top is ready. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe and comment on my video if you've not done so. Thank you so much.